plug for books that came out on May 6th, 2009. As always, I'm Craig, your host. This is the second of 3 installments. We've got some DC books and some IDW books to talk about. If you missed part 1 with our Marvel books, you can find it wherever you're watching this one. And also part 3 is going to have some indie books, so make sure you check that out. There are a lot of really great indie books this week, I gotta say that, because there are really some good stuff you need to know about right there. Let's start off the DC installment with another Battle for the Cowl one-shot, The Network. Fabian Nicieza and Jim Calafiore. Nice team, and it's an interesting idea here with The Network being a bunch of characters being led around by Oracle. You put Oracle in charge and you say, okay, she's got this vast communications ability, she can coordinate all these different things, pay attention to the news, pay attention to all this stuff. And again, it's another snapshot, a nice little snapshot of Gotham City during the Battle for the Cowl time period, where there's no Batman, or where there's the Jason Todd Batman, or what have you. You know, this Black Mask is out, Arkham Asylum is blown up, there seems to be no hope in Gotham. Let's make it interesting. Let's do another snapshot of how these characters are dealing with it. Again, it's another good one-shot. I feel like last week's one-shot, which must have been The Underground and Arkham Asylum, they were both probably superior to this, but this definitely, it's not taking anything from this book. It's still a very good one-shot for $2.99. Interesting characters, and hopefully leading forward into a new series to deal with what's going on with the Oracle and how she's coordinating all these characters. It's very interesting to see these people, kind of almost like a Birds of Prey that wasn't. You know, this is like Birds of Prey number 999, if you will, you know, just like the very last one of Birds of Prey. But still, very good stuff, and it continues the Battle for the Cowl ball rolling towards the conclusion, so excellent. The Mighty is out again this week, issue number 4. And this continues to be one of the best books that DC is putting out. Peter Tomasi, as you know from my GrandLAN reviews, is doing excellent work. So, buy The Mighty. Keith Champagne is a great artist. Tomasi is writing a great deconstruction of Superman and interesting ideas around it and what's going on. We'll get to another really good deconstruction of Superman in part 3. But right here, you know, it's this character, and people have to deal with being in his wake and how he interacts with them. And we're starting to see he's a lot clumsier, a lot more aloof than we really expected him to be at the start. And that's kind of where the drama is coming out of this book. It still feels like there's going to be something right around the corner that's going to change the direction this book goes radically and vastly and in ways we don't know just yet. But we're still getting there. It still feels pretty good. We're kind of getting where we need to be, but it's at the same time kind of spinning its wheels just a little bit. So it's kind of dropping off. I still have a lot of faith in this book, though. I still think this is going to be really, really fun, really amazing, well written. Just stick with it. Let's see where the first 6 issues go. Next up, Power Girl number 1. Or, if you prefer the Adam Q slice of cheesecake. Oh yeah, cheesecake. I'm not gonna hold that up twice. If I had the geriatric old people over here, you know, the naked old people having sex in Amazing Spider-Man, I'd hold that up for you, just to wash out that image. Anyways, Power Girl number 1. Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti write great books, and Amanda Conner draws great books. And with this team working on Terra, I was very excited. And I see this cover, and it's exactly the Amanda Conner art I expect. And then you get inside, and it's dark and gritty and dirty. And it's just not Amanda Conner's regular style. And I don't know if she's trying to explore a new style or what, getting away from cartoony or whatever, but I think that's what really hurts this book. Overall, it's an interesting new approach for Power Girl, you know, with a new company and this new, you know, approach for going forward. As her striking out on her own, becoming an established solo hero, but I just don't feel like it has the momentum that's going to be necessary. I don't care how many backs of issues you put the first 6 pages, the first 8 pages of this book into. You can put it in the backs of every issue until the end of time. You're still never going to sell enough copies of Power Girl to sustain this series. It's middle of the road at best. Conner should not have changed her art style. Her cartoony style that was on Terra would have worked perfectly for this book, but it's not going to pay off. It feels like it's just going to drop. It's just missing what it could have. What it could have was what the Terra series had. The Terra series was great, and the Power Girl series is just going to be missing something along the way. That was it for DC for this week for me, but we're going to move on to some IDW books. We got 2 of them here. First up, Groom number 2. this continues to be quite possibly the funniest book out there. It's just ridiculous. It's crazy. There's only, I believe it's only a 4-issue miniseries. Chris Ryall's writing, Ben Templesmith is on the art. This is probably the only thing by Ben Templesmith I've ever been willing to read, because all the rest of it is just blood-dripping horror. But this is so much fun. It's just a hilarious book all around. Ridiculous aliens and, you know, dealing with rednecks and anal probes. And I mean, if you've ever thought, you know, what's the humorous side to Area 51? You know, what's the humorous side to sci-fi other than Galaxy Quest? You know, there's a lot of humor right here, and it's definitely worth checking out. It's just ridiculously funny. I can't explain how good this book is. And again, it might be a little hard to find. I don't know how big it's getting, but it's getting to be very fun. It's a good cliffhanger ending in part 2 as well, so look forward to that if you can find it. Speaking of issue 2s, Life and Times of Savior 28, number 2 is out. This is another one of our Superman parables, our superhero parables, and it feels like we didn't establish as much in issue 2 as we did in issue 1. Issue 1 was very interesting and led me forward into this very dark world where this superhero has died, and, you know, looking at all the less than heroic things he's done. And in part 2, it's just kind of like, well, we'll talk a little more, and we'll do a hilarious scene with him trying to commit suicide, putting a gun in his mouth. Bam! Bam! Different gun. Bam! It's just, he's just not dying because he's indestructible, you know? All right, we get it. And then we lean a little more heavily on 9/11 again. J.M. DeMatteis. I understand this is like, there's this coming from a leftist viewpoint, and I identify a little to the left myself, I'm not going to lie, but it's just really heavy-handed with the politics. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be a leftist book. You know, it doesn't need to continue to focus on patriotism and politics and you know, so-and-so hated anybody who was a Republican. Like, who cares? That's not what the book should be about. You know, the politics is not what you've made the book about. It's not using it to move forward. It could use it to move forward, but it's not. It's just there, and we just keep pointing it out. Hey, look, there's politics in this book. Right there. There's a bunch of Democrats, and 9/11 happened, and some Republicans. There they are. 9/11 happened. Hey, did you notice that? We're talking about a book that happened shortly after 9/11. I don't care. Tell me the rest of the story about this character. Unfortunately, this book is going to be passed by a book that's appearing in the 3rd installment, and I encourage you to watch there, because that's the end of the 2nd installment for everybody out there. I apologize for the shortness. I think they're short at least. They feel like they're flying really quickly. Thanks again for watching. I hope you check out part 1 and part 3.